Hey Carlos, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning, teacher. I'm fine, thank you. And how about you?
Okay, I'm fine, thank you. Okay, I'm going to share my screen, okay?
Sure.
Good morning, Joanna.
Hello, teacher. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. And you?
I'm feeling great, thank you. Okay, guys, today we're going to be talking about two interesting topics. The interesting topics are the phrasal verbs and idioms, okay? Okay, in the first activity of the class, you're going to listen to the following song, with which you are going to write the phrasal verbs that you hear in the song. Okay. Tell me, guys, what do your phrasal verbs mean for you? Carlos, Joanna, Lucero. Good morning, Lucero.
Good morning, Miss.
¿Alguien sabe qué son los phrasal verbs?
The phrasal verb are a common expression that the notice use in every day.
Ya. Lucero, Carlos, Joanna.
Sorry, teacher. I don't know what they are.
Me too, teacher.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Ok, remember the phrasal verbs. Bueno, se los voy a decir en español. Entonces, de los the phrasal verbs son, bueno, son palabras que van unidas, o sea, primero va un verbo y luego pueden ir acompañados tanto de preposiciones como tanto como adverbios. Entonces, tanto un verbo con esa preposición hacen un significado, ¿sí? Igualmente es muy normal también escuchar los idioms. Los idioms en español serían como modismos. Entonces, en esa actividad simplemente, si alguien puede o alguien capta, o Lucero, que más o menos pues me dio la idea de qué son los phrasal verbs, entonces, bueno, el que entendió la canción, pues me puede decir lo que entendió de la canción. Sí, y si alguien, pues, más o menos capta los phrasal verbs, me los puede decir, ¿listo? Entonces van a escuchar la canción.
Excuse me, Miss. I
¿Entiendes?
can, no, I can listen the song.
Oh, en mi momento. ¿Así puedes escucharla?
Yes, teacher.
Ok.
Talking in my sleep at night, making myself crazy. Out of my mind, out of my mind. Wrote it down and read it out, hoping it would save me. Too many times, too many times. My love, he makes it feel like nobody else. don't pick up the phone. You know he's only calling cause he's drunk and alone. 2, don't let him in. You have to kick him out again. 3, don't be his friend. You know you're gonna wake up in his bed in the morning. And if you're under him, you ain't getting over him. I got no rules, I count 'em. I got no rules, I count 'em. I gotta do it. I got no rules, I count 'em. I gotta do it. I keep pushing forwards, but he keeps pulling me backwards. No way, no. Now I'm standing back from it. I finally see the pattern. I never loved woman. He doesn't love me, so I tell myself, I do. 1, don't pick up the phone. You know he's only calling cause he's drunk and alone. 2, don't let him in. You have to kick him out again. 3, don't be his friend. You know you're gonna wake up in his bed in the morning. And if you're under him, you ain't getting over him. I got no rules, I count 'em. I got no rules, I count 'em. I gotta do it. I got no rules, I count 'em. I gotta do it. Practice makes perfect. I'm still trying to learn it by heart. Eat, sleep, and breathe it. Rehearse and repeat it. 'Cause 1, don't pick up the phone. You know he's only calling cause he's drunk and alone. 2, don't let him in. You have to kick him out again. 3, don't be his friend. You know you're gonna wake up in his bed in the morning. And if you're under him, you ain't getting over him. I got no rules, I count 'em. I got no rules, I count 'em. I gotta do it. I got no rules, I count 'em. I gotta do it. You getting over him.
Ok, chicos. Entonces, ¿alguien supo o captó los phrasal verbs que estuvieron en la canción? ¿Lucero?
I think so. I'm a little confused about the phrasal verbs because I think the phrasal verbs are like get up, give away, hold on, common expression. Am I right?
Yeah.
This is okay, perfect. So yes, for example, don't pick up. Are these like mandatory?
Yes.
Pick up, no?
Yes.
Okay, I'm thinking about another.
Okay, thank you, Lucero. Joanna, Carlos.
I wrote 3, but I'm not sure if they are right. I wrote like, pushing, and known. No?
No.
Okay.
I can listen some prepositions. Down. I'm not sure. Down.
Okay. Okay. There are one phrasal verb is very common in their routine, in their daily routine, okay? For example, wake up. Bueno, todos sabemos qué significa despertar, ¿cierto? Otro phrasal verb que vi en la canción es getting up. Bueno, este significa superar. ¿Ok? Fueron los más.
Por
que
ejemplo, donde estoy mirando como, ajá, kick out, como patear, ese también contaría.
Sí, claro.
Ah, listo.
Es otro. Ese significa expulsar a alguien. Ok. Bueno, ok, continue. Some question for you. Tell me, Carlos, how often do you erupt?
No, not often, rarely. I don't go outside too much, but I would say like twice per month or something like that.
Okay, thank you. Lucero, number 2, please.
Have you ever put off doing a very important homework assignment until the last year? I have to work, and also I have another responsibilities. So sometimes I have to do my assignments until the last time. So yes.
Very good. Joanna, please, number 3.
I think in the lips of contacts, in the phone or in some notebook.
Yes, on our telephone directory.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Carlos, please, number 4.
Have you ever had to take care of one of your relatives? Yes, I have. Like a year ago, I had to take care of my grandfather in the hospital because he suffered an accident and he was really bad, and so he was in the hospital and I was with him some days.
Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Lucero, please, number 5.
Have you ever run into your teacher at the supermarket? Not really. I always lived outside the city, so it was never common to find or to meet my teachers at supermarket or no. To be honest, no. Also, I was always very shy, so I don't think.
Okay. Okay. Joanna, please, number 7.
How often did you get together with your high school friends? I have a friend. Oh, Constance. I talk with a friend, Karen. The lads I meet with her the last month with her and eat ice cream. I don't know why I don't talk with another's high school friends.
Okay.
I talk with a only friend.
Okay, thank you. Okay, as you can see, here we have the verb break. As you know, this verb means in Spanish romper. Now I'm going to add a preposition and an adverb to break, such as up, of, in, down, away. Okay, break up. This phrasal verb means to finish a romantic relationship with someone. Okay, the breakup. This phrasal verb means to break a piece from something. The breakup. This phrasal verb means to interact when someone else is talking. Break down, to become very upset. Okay, and break away, to leave something. Well, these are the meaning of the noun. Okay. Okay. As I told you, today we're going to have a lesson on phrasal verb and idioms. The first, we are going to talk about the phrasal verb. Okay. What is a phrasal verb? A phrasal verb is an expression or a phrase that is a combination of two or maybe three words, including the base verb plus adverb plus a preposition. Okay, the phrasal verb look forward to in Spanish is esperar. Okay, what is expression looking forward to mean? They look forward to. ¿Alguien sabe? Looking forward to.
Can you repeat the question, please, teacher?
Okay, what is the expression looking forward to mean?
It's like hoping that something happens or waiting for something to happen uh, with excitement, something.
Yeah, see, yes, thank you, Carlos. The expression look forward to is a common expression in English. It means to expect something with the pleasure. It is used to say that you are happy that something is going to happen. Very good, Carlos. Thank you. For example, the kids are looking forward to their holiday. Okay. The addition of these words to the main verbs changes the meaning in the most cases. The whole phrase acts as a verb that is different from the base verb used. For example, to pick is different from to pick up, okay, or to pick out as well. Many phrases verb use the same base verb with different adverb and prepositions. Creating phrasal verbs with different meanings. So there are different categories of phrasal verbs. Transitive, intransitive, separable, and inseparable. Okay. Okay. Now, why are phrasal verbs so difficult to learn? It's in some situation is something difficult because there are many of them because they are so commonly used that they can become overwhelming because one phrasal verb can have multiple meanings. For example, the phrasal verb put down can mean to place something down on the ground or a surface, okay? To humiliate or criticize someone or to kill an animal that was sad or suffering, okay? Okay, many phrasal verbs are idiomatic as well, so their meaning is not always as the individual words suggest. For example, to look at to someone can mean that you respect them. You don't actually have to be shorter than someone and physically looking up to them to be able to use the phrasal verb. Okay, I'm going to teach you some things that you need to know about phrasal verbs. Starting with what is a phrasal verb actually? You know, a phrasal verb provides the option in a sentence. It's an standard verb such as put, go, or take, plus one or two particles. Okay. A particle in a phrasal verb is either a preposition or an adverb. For example, go out, go after, go together, or go away. Out and after are prepositions, and together and away are adverbs. There are many more phrasal verbs. Now, once you know how to recognize a phrasal verb, you need to learn how to use it currently. And one of the first things that you need to find out is okay. There are 4 different types of the phrasal verbs. We can have transitive, intransitive, separable, and inseparable. Okay. As we well now see, some phrasal verbs can appear in a few different groups, as they can be both transitive, inseparable, and separable, for example, depending on the phrasal verb itself. Transitive and intransitive. Okay, phrasal verb in English. Verbs in English can be divided into 2 main groups, transitive and intransitive. To start with, we're going to look at the transitive verbs, okay? The transitive verbs require an object to complete their meaning. Imagine that I say, I need. The sentence is incomplete. There is information that is message. You are probably wondering, you need what? Do you want more information? Why is the sentence incomplete? Because need is a transitive verb. And a transitive verb needs an object or something after to complete the sentence. Okay? The object after transitive can be a noun or a pronoun. Let's add the noun, a dictionary. The sentence becomes, I need a dictionary. Now the sentence is complete. And we can understand it. We added the object dictionary after the transitive verb. The order is subject plus transitive verb plus object we can see that transitive verbs need an object after them. Okay. The same rule applies to transitive phrasal verbs, which also require an object. If someone says, I'm looking for, you would automatically think, looking for what? Or looking for him. Again, the sentence is incomplete because we need an object after that transitive verb. Let's say that my keys is the object that I'm looking for. I am looking for my keys. Now the sentence is clear and makes sense. We needed to add an object after the transitive verbs to make the sentences complete. Okay, more examples of transitive phrasal verb in sentence. He is looking for his passport. His passport is the object. And next one, you should put on a jacket because it's cold outside. Can you turn off the light when you leave the room, please? Okay, now look at the sentences, please. Take off your shoes before entering the house. The object appears after the transitive verb, as we have seen so far. However, sometimes the object goes in the middle of the transitive phrasal verb. For example, please take your shoes off before entering the house. Both sentences are correct. With some phrasal verbs, you can put the object in the middle, but that is not always the case. Okay, the phrasal verbs look up to, which means to respect or admire someone, but this phrasal verb always has to be followed by that person, by someone. You can just say it. I really look up to. The first things that I would have to ask them is who. Who do you look up to? Okay, look up to is a transitive phrasal verb. You need to have someone after the phrasal verb to make it make sense. Okay, now let's look at intransitive verbs. Intransitive verbs cannot have a direct object after them. For example, I smile. Here we cannot have an object after the intransitive verb, smile. You cannot smile something. This is incorrect. The subject is doing the action or the verb on nothing receive the action. And a transitive verb does not pass the action to an object because an intransitive verb expresses an action that is complete in itself and it doesn't need to object to receive the action. Okay, intransitive phrasal verbs, the same rule applies to intransitive phrasal verbs. You cannot have an object after an intransitive phrasal verb. For example, my car broke down on the way to work. Broke down is the past tense. Or to break down. Break down means to stop working. My car, for example, my car broke down is another way to say in my car stopped working. You cannot break down something. Break down is an intransitive phrasal verb, so it doesn't pass the action into an object. Okay, some more example sentences with intransitive phrasal verbs. Can you sit down, please? Notice you cannot sit down something. Another example, I grew up in Colombia. Grew up means to be raised as a child. I get out at 7 every morning. What time do you think he's going to show up? Here, show up means appear. okay? Some phrasal verbs can be both transitive and intransitive. For example, the phrasal verbs take off can be transitive in one sentence and intransitive in another sentence. You need to be careful, okay? Sometimes the meaning of a phrasal verb changes depending on the whether it is transitive or intransitive. Okay, let's look at the following example. When take off is transitive, it means to remove something. When take off is intransitive, it means to leave the ground and begin to fly. Okay, another example. He took off his tie when he got home. Okay, he took off the past tense or take off is intransitive, so it is an object. In this case, his tie. Saying there is an object after take off, we know the meaning can be to remove something. So he removed his tie when he got home. Okay, the next example, the plane will take off in 10 minutes. In this case, the phrasal verb take off is intransitive and has a different meaning, okay, the meaning of leaving the route. You can see that here there are two different meanings or uses of takeoff, okay? Also note that the same phrasal verb, for example, takeoff, can have more than one meaning, okay? Okay, now some phrasal verbs are either transitive or intransitive, depending on the meaning. So take the example, Hanover, which has two meanings. The first is a intransitive phrasal verb. It means to visit someone in the place where they are usually their house. Why don't you come over? It is stand on its own, okay? But come over can also be transitive. If a feeling suddenly come over you or an emotion, okay, that affect you in a strong way, you would say that emotion can over you, okay? A wave on anger can over him. So whether a phrasal verb is transitive or intransitive, it's important to know because it helps you and understand how to use it correctly, okay? Okay, now in addition to knowing if a phrasal verb is transitive or intransitive, you also need to know if it's separable or inseparable, okay? Separable means that the verbs and the particle are able to be separated in the sentence. So for example, the phrasal verb take on, which means to become responsible for something. It's an intransitive phrasal verb. It doesn't make sense on its own. Okay, I'm going to take on the project, but we can also say I'm going to take the project on. Okay, we can separate the words in the phrasal verb, so it's separable. Okay, another example, I need to put my jacket on. In this case, uh, jacket is in between the phrasal verb, put on, meaning to place and oneself. What is important to understand here is that although that phrasal verb can be separate, it doesn't actually have to be, okay? So we could say, I need to put in my jacket, okay? In this case, jacket is placed after the phrasal verb. Okay, now an inseparable phrasal verb means that we can separate the main verbs from the other words in the phrasal verb. No way, okay? As you can see, the phrasal verb look to, so we know that there is a transitive phrasal verb. is also an inseparable phrasal verb. You cannot separate the words in the phrasal verb. It's not possible to say, look someone up to, or look at someone too. It just doesn't work because it's inseparable, okay? Here an example of how it could work out. I really look to your dad. Now learning whether a phrasal verb is transitive or intransitive, or separable or inseparable. Right from the start, we help you to use correctly from now on, okay? Okay, now phrasal verbs are just multi-word verbs. So they need to be treated like any other verbs in a sentence. They need to show us which tense is being used, and they need to match the subject that is being used well. I give up. It's too hard. We also give up without really trying. We're not giving up yet. I died giving up. See how the verb sagent is time with the tense. You need to look for and find the phrasal verbs that are relevant to you and that are commonly used, because there are thousands of phrases in English, but you will never need to know all of them. But you will need to know the ones that are coming out in your life, right? They're the important ones for you. So you need to look for them, okay? Now, practice using phrasal verbs in the wrong way. Focus on topics. For example, if you are planning to take a holiday soon, think about all of the phrasal verbs you might use on your trip. Get on the bus, take off on the plane, pick up the hire car, go out for dinner, get out with friends. Don't forget to pay attention to whether they are transitive or intransitive, separable or inseparable phrasal verbs, okay? Another great way to practice is to start with a list of phrasal verbs. Okay, now let me show you one with an examples. Take this phrasal verb as the example. The phrasal verb can sense or adverbs and one or more prepositions. The meaning of the phrasal verb is often different from the meaning of the verb alone. Some phrasal verbs require a direct object, someone or something, while others do not. Okay, remember that some phrasal verbs can be separated by the object, while others cannot. For example, number one, some phrasal verbs do not need an object. Okay, and number two, some phrasal verbs need an object. Okay, use an idiom. Okay, the phrasal verbs are unique because they are not the same as other commonly used verb phrases, such as verbs paired with helping verbs. Remember that the phrasal verbs begin with a verb and then an adverb or a prepositions. Okay, when they do, the original meaning of the verb changes. This is one way the idioms or words with a figurative rather than a literal meaning. Okay. Take the phrasal verbs turn. We know that turn means to go another direction, and that it means inside something. But when the words turn in are put together as a phrasal verb, their meaning sentence, suddenly. We have an assignment that is taken out of a student's bucket and turned or given to the teacher. Another example could be the phrasal verb drop off. If we say that Joan dropped off is instead of studying, we mean that he fell asleep instead of studying. Okay. Okay. As I told you before, there are other examples of the two types of phrasal verbs, separable and inseparable. For example, here employees write down everything, she says. Here employees write everything she says down. Other common separable phrasal verbs include give a hand, add, put on, take off, throw away, okay, and drop off. There is one small rule to remember if you want to use a pronoun such as her, him, or it. And you must separate the phrasal verbs. Take a look at these examples. I decided to do a nice thing and drop off her at the concert. I decided to do a nice thing and drop her off at the concert. Lastly, is important to know that if the object is particularly long, then we don't usually separate the phrasal verb. This is not romantically incorrect, but it's a lot clearer for the listening. Take a look at these examples. Okay, can I book a taxi? I need to pick my friend from to a school at the airport. Can I book a taxi? I need to pick up my friend from to a school at the airport. Now, let's move on to inseparable phrasal verbs cannot be separated. So when using an object, it must always come at the end of the phrasal verb for nouns such as Colombia, your parents, your dog. Okay. On the weekends, I look my younger brother after. On the weekends, I look after my younger brother. Okay. The second one is the correct sentence. Okay. I have to run to get the bus on, but I made it. I had to run to get on the bus, but I made it. Okay. The second one is the correct, and the first one is incorrect. Okay. For three words phrasal verb, the same rule still applies. The object must come at the end, okay? Okay, let's look at some more examples. I always put up with my colleagues smoking outside the office door. They come up with ideas to control the words every day. Okay, we've run out of May. Again, can you go to the store? How do we know if a phrasal verb is separable or inseparable? I recommend you study small groups of phrasal verbs are time with plenty of samples and contexts. Okay. Another way to develop your skill with what sounds natural with phrasal verb, because the English language is full of phrasal verbs and English speakers use them constantly. Okay. The most common phrasal verb is with meaning and examples. Okay, the first phrasal verb asks around, meaning ask many people the same question. For example, I asked around, but nobody has seen my wallet. The next one is ask someone out, meaning invite on a date, okay? For example, you ask Woody out to dinner and a movie. Ask for, the meaning is do something in favor. For example, Mr. Bean asked for my father. Okay, back up. The meaning is reverse. For example, you have to back out your car so that I can get out. Bear with, meaning tolerate. Okay. For example, I can't bear to continue with this suffering. Break down. The meaning is crash. For example, the building is going to break down. Brain tune is the meaning is enter or open forcibly. Okay. For example, the deer phrase into the house. Okay, breakout. The meaning is cave. Okay. For example, the person is broke out or jail when the guards were lucky. Okay, break up, meaning in a relationship when a person breaks up, okay, with another person, or if two people break up, they end their romantic relationship or marriage, okay. For example, he broke up with her last night. Okay, another phrasal verb. Bring up, to raise a child or adapt, okay? When a person brings up a child, they look after and influence this child until they are grown up. For example, Sarah is bringing up her children by herself. Okay, this phrasal verbs can also be vomit, okay? For example, he ran so much that he brought his dinner up in the toilet. Breaking, the meaning is interrupt. For example, the TV station broken to report the news of the president of. Okay, brush up on. To improve, refresh one knowledge of something. For example, I must brush up on my English before going to the United States next month. Okay, another expressive verb called for. The meaning is demand. For example, Mr. Selena calls for someone. Carry on. The meaning continue. If you carry on doing something, you continue doing something. Okay, for example, let the task carry on. Check out. When you check out of a hotel or his house, you leave the place after paying and returning your room key. Okay. For example, we had to check out of the hotel before noon. Okay, shut someone or something out. The meaning is look at carefully investigate. For example, the company shuts out all new employees. Check out is new only gain to learn English. And after, the meaning try to find or capture. For example, the police comes out after the thief. Corrupt. Remove part or something or to keep cut into pieces, okay? For example, my mother cut the onions and put them in the pot. I cut this out of the newspaper. Okay, dress up, wear nice clothing, okay? For example, it's a fancy restaurant, so we have to dress up. And that, eventually reach to decide if you end up in a particular place or situation. It means that after a series of events. Um, for example, we end up renting a movie instead of going to the concert. Okay, filling. To write information in blanks. If you fill in a document or form, you write the necessary information in its spaces. Okay, for example, please fill in the form with your name, address, and phone number. Find out. The meaning is discover. If you find something out, you learn or discover something you didn't know. Okay, for example, we don't know where he lives. How can we find out? Get along, like each other. If you get alone with someone, you have a friendly relationship. You can also say that two people get along. Okay, I was surprised how well my new girlfriend and my sister get along. Get away. For example, the meaning is go on vacation. We worked so hard this year that we have to get away for a week. Get back. The meaning is return. Okay. If you give back to a place, situation, or activity, you return to the place. Okay, situation or activity. For example, we got back from our vacation last week. Get up. It's very common this phrasal verb. The meaning is rise. For example, we should get up early in the morning. Give someone away. The meaning is reveal hidden information about. For example, his wife gave him away to the police. Okay, give something away. The meaning is ruin a secret. For example, my little sister gave the surprise party away my accident. Gave something out. Gave to many people, usually at no cost. If you get out something, you give something to each person in a group. For example, they were giving out free perfume samples at the department store. Okay. Get bad, the meaning quit a habit. Stop trying to abandon. Okay. For example, I decide to give up smoking. I give up. What is the answer? Never give up on your study. Okay. Okay. Good after someone. The meaning is following someone. For example, my brother tried to go after the thief in his car. Go after something, try to achieve something. I went after my dream and now I am an English teacher. Okay, go ahead. The meaning is start or proceed, okay? For example, please go ahead and eat before the food gets cold. Go out, the meaning leave home to go on social event. For example, we're going out for dinner tonight. Another phrase verbs go out with someone, it means date. For example, Jessie has been going out with Luke since they met last winter. Did you hear? Jane and Keith are going out. Okay. Hang up. For the meaning is start a phone conversation. For example, to her is executive showering, I hang up. Okay, look after someone or something. Is the meaning is take care of. For example, I have to look after my sick grandmother. Look for someone or something. Okay, the meaning is try to find, share. For example, I'm looking for a red dress for the wedding. I'm looking for a new job. Okay, look forward to. The meaning is be excited about the future. For example, I'm looking forward to the Christmas break. I look forward to seeing you this summer. Okay, make meaning forget each other. For example, we are angry last night, but we made that breakfast. Okay, made someone up. Okay, then the meaning is apply cosmetics. For example, my sister made my app for me, my graduation party. Put something down, put what you are holding a surface on floor. For example, you can put the groceries down on the kitchen counter. Okay, pour off. The meaning is potion. We're pouring off our trade until January because of the hackering. Okay, another example, the bus put the meaning of until next week. Okay, now I'm going to share these videos about the phrasal verb.
Hi, Irene.
Hi, Ariel.
You seem a little under the weather. What's wrong?
My car broke down again. And I ended up coming by bus. I had just picked it up from the mechanic a few days ago. But the repair didn't hold up. Can you believe it? The car engine gave out again. I can't rely on my car any longer to get me where I need to go. It just wears me out.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
I really need to buy a new car. I started putting aside money every week. I earn money freelancing online in my free time.
Wow, that sounds great.
But I can't keep up with my studies this way, and I always fall behind. I have to catch up on my classes all the time. As soon as I buy the car, I'll give up the job and focus on my studies. Hey, Lisa and I are going to a concert next weekend, and I have an extra ticket. Would you like to come along?
I'm afraid I can't. I'm flying out to Canada next weekend for a cousin's wedding.
Really? You're not afraid of flying anymore?
Of course I am. I'm freaking out just thinking about flying. But I'm trying to get over my fear. I'm not going to run away from it any longer. I've decided to step out of my comfort zone. Fear is not going to hold me back from now on, not anymore. I just don't want to miss out on the chance to do so many wonderful things just because of my fears. I'm now ready to take on a new challenge.
That's a great idea. Yes, go for it. Open yourself up to new experiences. You're going with Brian, right?
I'm going with my sister. Brian and I split up a while ago. I'm the one who decided to break things off with him.
I really didn't know that. But you had been going out with him for so long. Isn't there any chance for you to get back together?
No, it's over between us. He let me down. I used to think he was my soulmate. We couldn't keep away from each other. But our relationship started to fall apart gradually. He turned out to be very selfish and rude. He began to think that the world was revolving around him